The morning sun rose over the quiet suburban neighborhood, casting a warm golden glow across perfectly trimmed lawns, neatly painted fences, and flower beds bursting with spring blooms. The streets were lined with tidy homes, each a picture of order and pride. On this particular street, life seemed idyllic. Children rode bicycles, neighbors exchanged greetings over white picket fences, and every lawn bore the mark of careful care. In one of these homes lived Emily Johnson, a woman known for her kindness, warmth, and dedication to her community. But the secret to her calm demeanor was not just her organized life or love for gardening. It was Luna, her black dog. Not just any dog. Luna was special. She was a decorated service animal, trained to assist Emily with physical and emotional challenges, a companion whose presence provided security, stability, and life-saving support. Luna trotted beside Emily as she stepped out onto the porch, her sleek black coat glistening in the morning light. Around her neck hung a service vest, adorned with medals and insignias from various competitions, therapy visits, and public recognition. To Emily, Luna was more than a pet. She was a guardian, a friend, and a hero in her own right. But in this neighborhood, appearances mattered more than reality. The Homeowners Association (HOA) enforced strict rules about everything from fence heights to landscaping. And it was here, in this meticulously maintained community, that a storm was quietly brewing. Across the street, Mrs. Van Buren, an overzealous HOA board member with a reputation for nitpicking, watched Emily and Luna from behind her lace curtains. She was a woman who prized order above all else, believing rules existed not just to protect the neighborhood but to control it. When her sharp eyes fell upon Luna, they narrowed. Another dog. Mrs. Van Buren muttered under her breath. And black, of all things, probably dangerous, probably untrained. Her fingers tightened around the HOA clipboard she carried like a weapon. For her, Luna represented chaos in the form of fur and freedom, a threat to the perfectly curated image of the street. Without asking questions, without understanding the dog's true role, she began drafting a complaint, convinced she had discovered a violation of neighborhood rules. Emily was oblivious to the scrutiny at first, enjoying a quiet morning tending her rose bushes while Luna lay obediently at her feet. But when the HOA notice arrived in the mailbox later that day, her world froze. It was a crisp, formal letter stamped with the HOA seal. The words jumped off the page. It has come to the attention of the HOA that your dog, Luna, violates community regulations regarding pet ownership. You are hereby instructed to remove the dog from your property immediately or face fines and further action. Emily's hands shook as she read. She blinked, then reread the notice, hoping it was some terrible mistake. Luna, sensing her owner's distress, nuzzled her hand gently, as if trying to reassure her. This can't be real, Emily whispered. Luna, you're a service animal. You're not just a dog, you're certified. You've saved lives, and you've helped me every day. But the letter left no room for negotiation. The HOA had assumed Luna was just a dog, and, in their narrow view, unacceptable. Emily's heart sank. She knew this wouldn't be an easy battle. In the living room, Emily sat with Luna at her side, tracing the medals on her vest with trembling fingers. Each medal told a story. Trips to hospitals where Luna comforted patients, awards from canine competitions recognizing her skills, commendations from organizations praising her service. Every accolade was proof that Luna was extraordinary, and yet the HOA seemed blind to it. Outside, the neighborhood hummed with normalcy. Children's laughter floated from the park, lawnmowers buzzed, and the scent of fresh-cut grass filled the air. Yet inside Emily's home, tension crackled. A battle was brewing, one that would test courage, knowledge, and the very principles of fairness and justice. Emily took a deep breath, stroking Luna's shiny black fur. "We'll fight this, girl," she said softly. "They don't know who you are, but they're about to find out." And with that, the quiet, orderly streets of the neighborhood became the stage for a confrontation that would expose ignorance, prejudice, and the incredible power of truth. The morning after the notice arrived, Emily could barely eat breakfast. Luna sat quietly beside her, eyes bright and attentive, as if sensing the storm gathering on the horizon. Each time the doorbell rang or a car passed slowly by the house, Emily's heart leaped, fearing another HOA inspection, another complaint, another confrontation. Word had already begun to spread. A few neighbors, curious and sympathetic, whispered among themselves about the letter. "Did you hear? The HOA wants that dog removed," said Mrs. Ramirez, a kindly neighbor who often helped Emily with groceries. "That dog helps her. Everyone knows it's a service animal." But not everyone was supportive. Across the street, Mrs. Van Buren was already making calls, rallying like-minded HOA members who had little patience for exceptions or rules they did not understand. They claimed it was unfair to the rest of the community, that Luna didn't belong, and that allowing one dog to skirt the rules would set a dangerous precedent. Emily tried to remain calm. She pulled out Luna's service certification, the official documents verifying her training, awards, and decorated status. Every page told the truth. Luna was no ordinary dog. She had completed hundreds of hours of training, assisted countless people in public spaces, and carried medals for exceptional service. She was recognized nationally for her skills. Yet when Emily called the HOA office to explain, she was met with bureaucracy and dismissal. "We cannot make exceptions for your pet," the receptionist insisted. "Rules are rules. Please remove the dog from your property." Emily's hands shook as she hung up. She turned to Luna, who rested her head on her lap. "They don't understand you, girl. They see a black dog and think, what? Trouble." Tears pricked her eyes. "You've done nothing but help people, nothing but be amazing." Determined not to be intimidated, Emily began documenting everything. She compiled Luna's certificates, letters of recognition, and testimonials from people Luna had assisted both in person and via phone messages. Every piece of evidence reinforced the truth. Luna was not only a service animal but a decorated one whose presence was legally protected. Meanwhile, the tension in the neighborhood mounted. Some neighbors whispered support behind closed doors. Others avoided Emily entirely, afraid of getting involved with the HOA's strict enforcement policies. The community had always valued order. But now the question lingered. Could kindness and truth triumph over rigid rules and bias? The next HOA board meeting approached, and Emily knew it would be the pivotal moment. The threat was no longer hypothetical, it had become personal. If she did not act, Luna could be forcibly removed, fined, or even prohibited from being outside freely, stripping Emily of vital assistance. That evening, Emily sat at her kitchen table, Luna lying faithfully at her side. She spread the documents before her, organizing them meticulously. "We're ready, Luna," she said softly. "We're going to show them who you really are, and that you belong here just as much as anyone else." Luna nudged Emily's hand gently, as if acknowledging her owner's resolve. In that silent exchange, Emily felt a surge of courage. The battle ahead would not be easy, but she and Luna were ready to fight not just for themselves, but for every person and animal who had ever been misunderstood or unfairly judged. And in that moment, the suburban neighborhood, with its neat lawns and white fences, became the stage for a confrontation that would reveal courage, justice, and the extraordinary bond between a human and her decorated service dog. The night before the HOA board meeting, Emily sat at her dining table surrounded by stacks of papers, folders, and certificates. The warm glow of a single lamp cast long shadows across the room, flickering over the polished medals hanging from Luna's vest. Emily traced her fingers across each ribbon, each emblem a testament to the countless hours Luna had trained, assisted, and comforted those in need. "People don't see you for who you are, Luna," Emily whispered. "They only see color or a dog. Not the life you've saved, not the difference you make every single day." Luna rested her head on Emily's lap, eyes calm and understanding, as if sensing the gravity of the moment. She had been by Emily's side through therapy sessions, medical emergencies, and public demonstrations, earning commendations from local organizations and national awards. The list of her achievements was long, each one meticulously documented. Certificates from accredited service dog organizations, medals from therapy dog competitions and public service recognition, letters from hospitals, schools, and community centers praising Luna's dedication, legal documentation confirming her status as a fully certified service animal. Emily carefully organized everything into a single color-coded binder. Every medal, every letter, every certificate would be presented at the HOA meeting. It was more than evidence, it was proof that Luna was not only entitled to be in the neighborhood, but revered for her contributions to society. The next morning, as Emily approached the HOA hall with Luna at her side, a nervous energy filled the air. Other residents whispered quietly, glancing between Emily and the imposing boardroom. The board, led by Mrs. Van Buren, sat with rigid posture, exuding authority and self-importance. As the meeting began, the HOA member who had issued the original ban motioned sharply. "We are here because this dog violates community regulations. You cannot dispute this. Rules exist for a reason." Emily took a deep breath. "I am here to present facts, not opinions," she said, opening her binder and letting the pages fall neatly before the board. "This is Luna. She is not merely a pet. She is a fully trained service animal, recognized and decorated for her service to countless people, myself included." She began to explain, showing each document in turn. The certifications, the awards, the letters of recognition. She recounted stories of Luna assisting people in hospitals, schools, and public spaces, highlighting the dog's courage, discipline, and unwavering dedication. The board members' expressions shifted from indifference to curiosity, then to surprise. Mrs. Van Buren, however, was unrelenting. "This is irrelevant," she snapped. "The rules apply to everyone. Exceptions cannot be made for one animal." Emily remained calm, her voice firm. "It is not an exception, it is the law. Service animals are protected by state and federal regulations. Luna is not only legally entitled to be here, her decorated status proves she is an extraordinary asset to the community." A hush fell over the room. Neighbors watched in astonishment as Emily detailed Luna's achievements. Some exchanged approving nods, whispering encouragement to each other. Even some of the more conservative board members shifted uncomfortably, realizing the HOA had acted in ignorance. Luna, sitting quietly by Emily's side, wore her service vest proudly, her medals catching the light. She looked calm, confident, and dignified, as if she already knew the outcome. By the time Emily closed her presentation, the entire room understood. This was no ordinary dog, no trivial dispute. Luna's record, her decorations, and her legal standing left the HOA with no argument strong enough to justify the ban. As the meeting adjourned, Mrs. Van Buren's face reddened with frustration. While whispers of admiration and support for Emily and Luna spread throughout the crowd, the tide had begun to turn. The facts were undeniable, and justice had found its first foothold. Emily took a deep breath, rubbing Luna's ears affectionately. "Tomorrow," she whispered, "we show them what real courage looks like." The morning sun cast a pale glow over the HOA meeting hall, a modest building tucked between rows of manicured lawns. Emily arrived early, Luna at her side, her service vest shining with medals and badges that told stories of courage and devotion. The quiet dignity of the dog contrasted sharply with the tense atmosphere inside the hall, where board members, including Mrs. Van Buren, were already seated, their expressions stern and expectant. Neighbors had begun to arrive, curious about the dispute that had been whispered about for weeks. Some offered encouraging smiles to Emily as she passed, while others simply watched in anticipation. Emily's heart pounded, but she kept her focus. This was the moment to stand firm, not only for herself and Luna, but for every law-abiding pet owner and service animal that could be unfairly targeted in the future. Mrs. Van Buren was the first to speak, her tone sharp and commanding. "We are gathered today to address the violation regarding Luna, the black dog at Ms. Johnson's residence. This pet allegedly breaches community regulations regarding size, color, and ownership. We require the dog's immediate removal." Emily stepped forward, her binder in hand, her voice calm but resolute. "I am here to present the facts. Luna is not just a dog. She's a fully certified service animal, trained to assist me with daily tasks and provide critical support for medical and emotional needs. Her status is documented, legally protected, and nationally recognized." She opened the binder and began presenting the evidence. Certification papers, award certificates, letters from hospitals and schools, and photographs of Luna assisting in public events. She recounted stories of how Luna had saved Emily during medical emergencies, comforted anxious children in hospitals, and participated in therapy programs across the state. Every piece of evidence highlighted Luna's extraordinary skill, dedication, and service. The room grew quiet. Even some of the most rigid board members shifted uncomfortably in their seats, whispering among themselves. Neighbors exchanged glances, their expressions reflecting surprise and admiration. Mrs. Van Buren tried to interrupt. "This is irrelevant. Our rules are clear, and no exceptions can be allowed." Emily raised a hand, gently but firmly stopping her. "It is not irrelevant. Service animals are explicitly protected under both state and federal law. To attempt to remove Luna is not only morally wrong, it is illegal. Luna's decorated record further underscores her role, and every claim of violation is unfounded." She held up a photograph of Luna receiving an award from a reputable national service dog organization. "This dog has not only helped me but countless others, and yet she is being targeted simply because she is black and because someone assumes rules apply blindly without understanding." A ripple of murmurs passed through the room. Some neighbors nodded emphatically, their voices rising in support. "She's right. Everyone knows Luna's amazing." The board members, now visibly uncomfortable, began to realize the weight of the facts Emily had presented. Mrs. Van Buren's face flushed with anger and embarrassment. I wasn't aware of all this, but the rules—" Emily leaned forward, her voice steady and strong. "The rules are meant to protect the community, not punish heroes. Luna follows every rule, behaves impeccably, and serves a vital purpose. To ban her would be injustice disguised as enforcement." For a moment, silence fell. Then, one of the more reasonable board members spoke up. "I think we need to reconsider. This evidence is substantial, and her service is undeniable." Slowly the room began to shift. Murmurs of support for Emily and Luna grew louder. The HOA member who had attempted the ban no longer had the authority or moral standing to argue. The facts and the decorated service of Luna had won the day. Emily knelt beside Luna, stroking her ears. "We did it, girl," she whispered. "They finally understand who you are." Luna wagged her tail slightly, her calm, intelligent eyes reflecting the trust and bond she shared with Emily. The room, once filled with tension and judgment, now resonated with a sense of justice and admiration. The turning point had been reached. The HOA had been confronted, the facts laid bare, and the community had begun to see Luna for what she truly was, not just a pet, but a hero, a service animal, and a rightful member of the neighborhood. The tension in the HOA meeting hall reached a peak. Mrs. Van Buren sat rigid in her chair, her face flushed with frustration as the murmurs of the gathered neighbors grew louder. Emily remained calm, kneeling beside Luna, who sat proudly, her decorated service vest gleaming under the fluorescent lights. The room had shifted. Supporters from the community, neighbors who had witnessed Luna's service firsthand or heard of her remarkable achievements, now voiced their opinions confidently. "Luna belongs here," one shouted. "She's a hero to Emily and this community." The board members exchanged uneasy glances. For the first time it became clear that the attempt to ban Luna was not only morally wrong but legally indefensible. Emily stood, holding her binder high. "Let me be perfectly clear," she said, her voice firm yet composed. "Luna is a fully certified service animal. She has completed rigorous training, assisted countless people, and earned decorations that recognize her extraordinary contributions. Attempting to ban her violates federal and state law. It also undermines the values of this community." Mrs. Van Buren sputtered, trying to respond, but the room had turned against her. Even the other board members were uncomfortable now. Whispers of agreement grew louder, and one elder neighbor finally spoke up. "Enough. This dog has done more good than anyone here has ever seen. We cannot punish her for being extraordinary." Emily continued, laying out the final evidence. Letters from hospitals, schools, and therapy programs, certificates from service dog organizations, and awards Luna had earned over the years. Each document demonstrated Luna's critical role not as a pet, but as a trained, recognized, and legally protected service animal. The HOA members could no longer argue. Mrs. Van Buren, her face pale and her confidence shattered, reluctantly said, "Very well, Luna may remain." The room erupted in applause. Neighbors cheered, some standing to pat Luna's head, while others came forward to shake Emily's hand. The community had witnessed justice in action, and the victory was as emotional as it was deserved. Emily hugged Luna tightly, tears in her eyes. "You did it, girl. You showed them who you are." Luna nuzzled her owner's shoulder, calm yet proud, as if understanding the impact she had just made. The community's celebration continued outside the hall. People shared stories of how Luna had helped them or someone they knew. Children gathered around her, excitedly asking about the medals on her vest, while adults expressed admiration for her courage and discipline. Luna, ever composed, received attention graciously, as only a service animal trained to perfection could. The HOA had learned a powerful lesson. Rules were meant to protect the community, but justice, compassion, and truth must always guide enforcement. Prejudice, ignorance, or bias had no place where facts and courage prevailed. That evening, as Emily returned home with Luna by her side, she looked at the medals glinting in the sunset. Each one told a story of resilience, service, and love. She whispered softly, "You are more than a dog, Luna. You are a hero." And today the whole neighborhood saw it. The street was calm once again, but now it was different. The community had grown closer, united by the battle they had witnessed. People were more aware, more compassionate, and more willing to stand up for what was right. And at the center of it all was Luna, decorated service animal who had faced bias, injustice, and rules blindly enforced and had emerged victorious. The battle had ended, but the lesson remained. Courage, truth, and love can overcome ignorance, and heroes come in all shapes, sizes, and even species. The Johnson home was alive with warmth and relief. After the HOA meeting, Emily and Luna returned to a street that felt different, lighter, freer, and more welcoming. Neighbors waved, stopped to chat, and shared smiles of support that had once been tentative. The victory over the unfair HOA ban had not only protected Luna, but also strengthened bonds within the community. Inside the house, Emily watched as Luna settled onto her bed, medals glinting softly in the late afternoon sun. She ran her fingers over the dog's sleek black fur, marveling at the courage and loyalty that had carried them through the battle. "You did it, Luna," Emily whispered. "You didn't just protect me, you reminded everyone what real service looks like." The children from the neighborhood, once timid about approaching the problem dog, now gathered at the Johnsons' yard. They were eager to pet Luna, ask questions about her medals, and learn about the incredible tasks she had performed. Emily smiled as she watched Luna patiently interact with the children, her calm, intelligent eyes reflecting pride and understanding. News of Luna's decorated status and the HOA's failed ban spread quickly. People in neighboring streets began to reassess how they treated service animals and those who relied on them. Emily received letters, messages, and phone calls from families who had faced similar situations, stories of discrimination, misunderstanding, and fear. Many wrote to thank her, inspired by the courage she had shown and the justice she had fought to uphold. Even some HOA members, including those who had initially opposed her, approached Emily to apologize, admitting they had underestimated Luna and the importance of recognizing service animals. It was a hard lesson, but one that left the community more inclusive, compassionate, and informed. That evening, Emily and Luna sat together on the porch watching the sun dip below the horizon. The sky was painted with vibrant oranges and purples, a perfect backdrop for reflection. Emily whispered softly, "We fought for what was right, Luna, and we won." But it wasn't just about the HOA, it was about showing people that courage, truth, and love matter more than prejudice or fear. Luna rested her head in Emily's lap, calm and serene, as if agreeing. She had been a hero in action, but her quiet presence now served as a reminder of the power of dedication and loyalty. The neighborhood, once divided by fear of enforcement and strict rules, now stood united. People greeted each other with kindness, welcomed service animals without question, and celebrated the values that truly made a community strong: fairness, understanding, and courage. Emily took a deep breath, looking at the horizon. "This is more than a victory," she said softly. "It's a legacy for Luna, for every service animal, and for everyone who believes in doing what's right." The medals on Luna's vest caught the last rays of sunlight, sparkling as symbols of perseverance, dedication, and triumph. In that moment, Emily knew that the bond between her and Luna, the respect they had earned for service and justice, would endure for a lifetime. The battle was over, but the lesson remained clear. True heroes do not seek recognition, yet their courage inspires change. And in this quiet suburban street, a black dog named Luna had become a symbol of resilience, hope, and the enduring power of standing up for what is right.